Hi, my name is Peter Torok, and in this training, I'm going to show you how to become a lucid dreamer. I've been practicing different dreaming and out-of-body practices for many years, and I'm going to walk you through my own techniques step by step. I will do my best to help you establish regular, automatic conscious dreaming. Thank you for letting me be here to help you on this journey. My personal aim is to draw everyone's attention to the fascinating abilities of our mind and to spread the benefits of expanding self-awareness. This is very personal to me. It is kind of my life mission. That is why I'm going to share some of my own lucid dreams with you, with the hope that you will find them both interesting and inspirational. This lucid dreaming course is part of my training series, in which each course focuses on learning about a different aspect of our mind to gain practical skills which we can then apply in our everyday lives. To complete this course, all you need is a notebook and an alarm clock. All I need from you is to commit to your practice. I'm going to show you my step-by-step formula, and if you follow it, you could achieve amazing, vivid and sensual lucid dreams in a matter of days. I have designed a training based on how I progress from beginner to advanced level, and I will also share case studies and show visuals to demonstrate how to do the training. I found that reading books on lucid dreaming can be sometimes overwhelming because many of them give us a long list of methods. I have tested many techniques over the years, I mixed them with my own mindfulness practice, and I have created an easy-to-follow structure which enabled me to continuously increase my lucid awareness. I have prepared notes for you to download so you can lay back and enjoy the course. Some parts of the training are similar to the tutorial, and sometimes I talk about mindfulness because I really wanted to give you the big picture about lucid dreaming. Lastly, I have done live workshops before, but this course is the very first of my online material, and I have to say that it took me a while to figure out the best way to talk into a microphone. Because of this, you might notice that my tone somewhat varies from section to section. I hope you won't mind. What does it mean to be a lucid dreamer? Live out your fantasies. Fly over mountains or journey into space. Dive deep into the ocean. Jump between the roofs of skyscrapers. Witness colors, sounds, and sensations that you've never seen before. Pass through walls. Talk to strange dream characters. Build landscapes with your thoughts. Summon anybody and become intimate with them. Look into your subconscious mind to learn about yourself and access your memories. Believe me, the only limit is your imagination. Fancy some spiritual exploration? Find out what's possible in the out-of-body state. Attempt to communicate with spirit guides. Explore other dimensions. Try to enter other people's dreams. How did I learn to lucid dream? In 2010, I read a book about Mexican shamanic practices. The author claimed that he told the true story about his initiation process into the shamanic tradition. In the book, at some point, he wrote that we need to become aware of our other life while we are sleeping, and he described the dreaming as a gateway to another world. And he also described how we can become conscious of that and how we can live in two worlds at the same time. I remembered that when I was a teenager, I had an experience which at the time I just could not understand. The following has happened. One night, I woke up on the street, quite far away from home. When I opened my eyes, it was dark and I had no clothes. I got up and I was like, What is happening? I stood there, confused, and my first thought was that I probably had a rough party and maybe my friends took my clothes as a prank. I had no explanation. I had nothing on me, no phone either. I looked around, I couldn't see anyone, so I decided that I would go home. I walked about half a mile, meanwhile trying to find an explanation. I knew that part of town, I passed by some closed shops and the ice skating place. Then suddenly my vision began to fade and the surroundings have transformed. I found myself in the local shopping center. In that moment, the realization hit me. Oh, I am dreaming. But wait, in our dreams, we are passive characters. Something was out of place here. This was an entirely different experience. I had the same conscious awareness that I have right now when I'm explaining the story. I possessed the same ability to think, reflect, make decisions, and to move around as I pleased. There was nothing dreamlike around me that would influence me. I wasn't dreaming about anything. There was no dream event, no unfolding story. I was completely free to do whatever I wanted. I just stood there observing my surroundings. I walked around and I looked into certain stores. In wakeful life, we know that we are awake, right? We are certain. We can test it. This was the same experience. I had the same wakeful consciousness. As I was wondering about my situation, suddenly everything went blurry again. I woke up on the couch in our living room and I saw my mother walking around. I thought to myself, well, that was a weird dream, and I stood up and made my way to the bathroom. My mother passed by me twice, which was strange because normally we say hi or good morning to each other. And then again, my vision faded and I woke up in my own bed, this time for real, and I was sweating and my heart was racing and I didn't know whether I was in the real world or still in a dream because the physical sensations and my awareness on the street, in the shopping center and in the living room, everything was the exact same as now. It took me a few minutes to work it out, to make sure that I have woken up for real. All three locations prior to the real awakening felt like I was really there. I had the same conscious awareness that I'm having right now. After this experience, I asked a lot of people about what may have happened to me, and no one could give an answer, so I kind of moved on. I stopped thinking about it and I guess I forgot about it. 10 years had to pass for this thing to resurface again. The fact of reading about the shamanic ways have brought this memory back. This was exactly what the shaman was teaching his disciple about. How to carry his conscious awareness into the dream world and beyond. He said it's possible to visit other worlds, enter the dreams of others, and even observe the physical world from our energy body. The book triggered something in me. From that day forward, I had such similar lucid dreams every single night. I knew that I was dreaming in every dream and I could do anything I wanted. I could relocate, reshape my environment, summon dream copies of people, live out my fantasies and fly. After this, my research began about lucid dreams and OBEs. I read a lot about scientific studies and case studies about near-death experiences. I became really interested in what happens in the brain in such altered states of consciousness. I also began to meditate daily, which massively increased my skills in my lucid dreams. My practice became so intense, I was focusing on it all day and I was improving rapidly. My control of this state became better and better until one day I was meditating and for the first time I went out of body. This means that I kept my wakeful consciousness as I slowly transitioned from an alert meditation into this so-called energy body. When I did that deliberately for the first time, I knew my life wouldn't be the same anymore. That is such an intense spiritual experience, like I have no words. When you consciously separate from your body and then you observe your body from the outside, that is like, okay, what are we capable of? Can we really perceive other dimensions? If I had, any fear of death, that was gone. What was also fascinating that the learning curve laid out in the shamanic book matched my early experiences. But the end of the book is talking about really fantastic stuff, which is quite difficult to believe with a scientific mind. And here I am, a maths teacher having an out-of-body experience. I have decided to continue my training until I find out what the limit of the out-of-body experience is. If you continue listening to this lecture, you will understand the benefits of such out-of-body journeys. I'm going to lay out a step-by-step training program, and if you follow those steps, you will be able to experience a conscious OBE yourself. The secret to become a lucid dreamer is to understand the power of our intention. What is intention really? It is challenging to grasp it. It is our desire, it is to want something, it is our purpose and focus. It is our creative energy. When you really want something, that intention turns into power. We achieve great things if we have strong intentions. All other techniques are supporting our main objective really, to create a powerful intention to become conscious in our dreams. Take placebo for instance, or look at this classic example. If you have something really important the next day and you need to wake up at 6 a.m. and you are focused on that before you go to sleep, you will wake up at 6 a.m. or earlier, even without having an alarm. I am sure that similar things have happened to most of us. When we are working with the mind, like learning to lucid dream, we are working with intention. It is important to note that if we are conserving our mental energy, then we can channel that into our strong intention. Our intention is a direct message or even a command to our subconscious mind to carry out our wish. And here's the trick. The thoughts and emotions we are holding while drifting into sleep will determine our dreams and even our mood on the next day. And here is the second trick.
The subconscious is motivated by emotion, right? Not reason. We need to find a way to translate this into an emotional concept.
We need to communicate our intention, our command, with emotion. If you only tell yourself mentally that you want to become lucid, it is not going to have much of an impact. You have to remind yourself, why do you want to lucid dream? What are the benefits for you? What is your goal? Is it a fantasy you wish to live out? Or do you want to fly? Do you want to access old memories? Do you want to have a hot date with a celebrity? Do you want to meet a spirit guide? I can tell you that the simple act of being fully conscious in that alternative reality is mind-blowing, and it compares to nothing in wakeful life. So you have to visualize your goal. You have to build up that visualization. Feel as if you are achieving your goal right now, because that is how you strengthen your intention. For this reason, you can make the most out of your training if you become obsessed with lucid dreaming. I suggest that you read about the topic online and read book chapters and articles and discuss your lucid dreaming with others. The secret is that if you are able to build a super powerful interest and excitement, then that in itself may lead to your first lucid dream. That powerful intention is key because it is a specific instruction to your mind to awaken you within the dream. Let me guide you through the structure of the course. I will begin by discussing what lucid dreaming is and why we should learn it in the first place. Then I will explain the levels of lucid dreaming, which is essential to develop our understanding of how to progress with our practice. I will also explain the science behind it. After that, I will talk about the various ways of achieving lucid dreams, and I will teach you how to remember our dreams. The main part of the training is about the step-by-step techniques and tapping into the power of our mind. And lastly, I will also show you how to manage and prolong our lucid dreams and discuss the next level, which is the out-of-body experience. Day 1. I hope that the introduction awakened your curiosity and you're thinking about lucid dreaming's potential. I have created some practice activities for you. I recommend that you do these each day because they will really help you to become lucid. You can make the most of them if you do them right before you go to sleep. For today, I would like you to write a list of your significant dreams. I will presume that you do remember at least a couple of your dreams from any point of your life. If you can't remember any, don't worry, the course will also go into detail about how to remember dreams better. We will use this list throughout the course. Think of dreams which were somehow memorable to you, for example, especially positive or negative ones, strange dreams or any dreams which you couldn't make sense of. Did you perhaps have any precognitive dreams? I highly recommend to start working with your dreams as of now, because doing so will warm up those important brain areas which will make lucid dreaming come easier. The levels of lucid dreaming. The amount of self-awareness we have varies from lucid dream to lucid dream. It's not like we achieve a standard lucid dream and then job's done. We really want to progress, reach higher and higher. Imagine the extent of self-awareness we have in dreams as a many-story high building. At every level, we gain access to an even more exciting and eye-opening world, even more freedom. The more awareness, the more access. For example, in a lucid dream, one may have relatively little self-awareness, just enough to recognize that one is dreaming. That is very far from our goal, to have 100% control over the lucid dream, to maintain self-awareness equal to that of wakeful life, or perhaps even more. This is the state we are after. This is when we have godly power to create and explore. I found that having a system to measure how self-aware we are, how lucid we are, really helps with our training. We want to know how much consciousness we manage to bring into the dream and how to increase that even further every time. Let's look at the following example. You are having a regular dream in which somebody is chasing you. I will use this example to explain the levels of lucidity, and I will refer to it as the dream story. So in this story, the first level of lucid dreaming is reached when you realize that something is out of place, that the chasing situation can't be real, and you just stop being afraid. This awareness manifests as you not buying into the dream story. To some extent, you have control over your emotional reactions to the dream story, the chasing event, and you may do minor reflections. However, you are not changing anything about the dream. You don't have that much awareness yet. The first level is called realization. On the second level, when someone is chasing you, you have enough self-awareness to think just enough to make limited intentional changes. For example, to stop running or to confront the person who is chasing you. You are dreaming the same dream story, but now you play an active role in it. I call this level action. Let's discuss the third level. Sticking to the same dream story, you are being chased. Suddenly, you realize that you are dreaming and start reflecting. I am being chased. This is a dream. I don't have to dream about being chased at all. I don't even have to fight back. I can dream about anything I want to. Let's fly up and see what it's like to be above the clouds. Did you notice the difference in contrast to level 2? You may go from story to story, person to person, environment to environment, acting as you like, making choices. At this stage, it feels kind of like a theme park. You may go from one ride to another. You select which one you prefer. and what you want to do in each experience. Training, therapy, exploration, meditation, action, sex. It all depends on your desires and motives. At this stage, there's a lot of enjoyment to be had, and we can self-reflect reasonably, but we still have limitations. The environment may change, and you may meet a new dream person or dream story. You engage with whatever the dream is offering to you. You react to what you see in the dream rather than what you intentionally created. You are acting within the framework automatically projected by your subconscious mind. Let's call this level choice. On the fourth level, you may begin mastering the lucid state. At this stage, there is nothing in the dream that you did not intentionally create. There are no dream stories, no automatic projections. You are the creator. You are as conscious as if you were in wakeful life. You remember all your intentions from wakeful life, everything you wanted to do in the lucid dream. Abiding in this state is pure bliss. In fact, I cannot describe it. It feels like you are in another dimension. This state must be experienced to know what it's like. In this very conscious state, you can download anything, access a memory, shapeshift, sing, summon any person, dead or alive, go to any place on earth, visit another universe, talk to your guides, do energy healing. You can create anything. It is also one of the doorways to an out-of-body experience. That is why I call the fourth level freedom. In the dream, the level of lucidity can jump up and down, blurring the boundaries of these levels, depending on our skill in anchoring our self-awareness. This kind of progression is available if you continue your training inside the lucid dream. I think to master these 4 levels is an appropriate challenge for us now. If you wish to take your practice even further, I continue with the progression in the advanced course. You can use the lucid dream state as a catalyst for creativity. There are so many famous people in history, like Einstein, who said that the idea of their inventions came to them in their dreams. Lucid dreaming is an especially wonderful tool for artists. For example, if you're a musician, ask your subconscious mind while in the lucid state to show you an amazing melody. Listen to it, then wake up and compose it. Music in the lucid dream can be extremely special. It is beyond imagination. Sometimes it feels like a perfect and epic melody, something that I've never heard before. And sometimes it's like an orchestra made up of hundreds of people playing a heavenly symphony. On these occasions, I really wish that I had musical talents. I really wish I could show it to people. And there is more. I can also sing in the lucid dream with absolute perfection. I can sing in the style and voice of any singer, yet in real life, I cannot sing at all. By looking into the subconscious mind through lucid dreaming, you can access your hidden potentials. We are using the gamma brainwaves in the lucid dream, which is a hyper-creative mode. You're using the brain in a very special way, which will influence your creativity in your waking life too. What else can we get from lucid dreaming? Sometimes when we wake up, we can feel that the last dream we had is still influencing our mood. Other times we don't even remember anything, yet something is still affecting us. When we experience feelings of happiness, excitement, or being content in a lucid dream or OBE, the amazing feelings often stay with us for days. This happens because we can access our subconscious mind in a lucid state, and we can imprint these positive states like installing a new program. Also, many out-of-body travelers, including myself, report a spiritual sensation that cannot be compared to anything. For me, after an OBE, I feel that all of my cells are vibrating with bliss and energy. It is truly an otherworldly sensation. So, the positive effects accompany us and influence us in our wakeful lives. The point is that the quality of our dreams has a direct effect on our next day. Lucid dreams have an even greater impact because they tend to be much more vivid, full with powerful sensory experiences. As our ability to be conscious in our dreams increases, so does our ability to be mindful in our wakeful state. Because lucid dreamers activate those parts of the brain which are responsible for self-awareness and creative thinking. Also, we can wake up refreshed because as lucid dreamers, we can choose to have only positive dreams, get rid of nightmares, and carry over positive intentions from our conscious dreams to the next day. You could relive one of your memories, for example a nice one which is dear to you or exciting, but you could also activate an unpleasant one with the purpose of analysis and learning from the situation, perhaps to gain closure, to let go. Lucid dreamers have access to a virtual world in which they can look at their memories as if they were a three-dimensional movie. One may pause, fast forward, rotate the view, or assume the viewpoints of others. You could ask your subconscious, what is the purpose of my life? Or what is holding me back from my happiness? You may receive the answer in different ways. The subconscious may summon a dream character who can give you a direct answer. You may also receive visions, or you may witness an event which gives you the inspiration you needed to find your answer. We can find out about potential limiting beliefs we have, or get reassured about certain decisions we've already made. In the next clip, I'll show you what I mean by this. Case Study Dream. In my dream, I'm in the west part of the city and my intention is to get home. As I look in the distance, I can see that there is a mountain to my right which does not exist in real life. I am feeling intrigued and confused. There are footpaths leading up to the top and I estimate that by going through this mountain, I will get to my destination. I make my way towards it and I suddenly find myself on a wide road going downhill. I begin to accelerate. It feels like I'm riding a bicycle. I feel the resistance of the tires touching the road and everything, except there is no bicycle there. I'm experiencing the ride as being the bicycle itself. This is weird, so the sensation makes me realize that I am dreaming. I have reached a level 1 lucid dream, the realization. The dream continues, I speed up and I am moving really fast. I dodge cars by leaning left and right, turning out of their way with powerful movements. I see railways to my left, the mountain to my right, and I notice that the road is going to end and there are buildings in front of me. The following thought enters my mind. Something must be done, otherwise I'm going to crash into the building ahead of me. At this point, I begin to enter level 2 lucid dreaming because I realize that I can take action. I make an intentional change. First, I fly up a little and I also slow down time itself. You might have seen movies with slow motion in them. This feels very similar.
If I could save time in a bottle, the first thing that I'd like to do save every day till eternity passes away, just to spend them with you.
So here I am, drifting through the air in slow motion, looking around and thinking about my options. I am reflecting. It's a level 2 lucid dream. This sensation is amazing in itself, but I have urgent need to come up with an idea about how to stop myself from crashing into the building. I decide to become ghost-like, transparent instead of solid matter. Immediately, I notice that my dreaming body is fading, becoming ether-like. The next moment, I pass through the building in front of me without any resistance. I see the rooms inside, and then I come out on the other side. When I'm through, I return my body and the flow of time to normal. You can notice that if I was even more lucid, if I had even more awareness, I could have just thought, I don't have to worry about how to prevent the crash because it's just a dream. I could have changed the whole story. That is why the dream so far is a level 2 lucid dream only. I acted within the provided story. I would like to point out that if you become a regular lucid dreamer, after a while these type of level 2 awareness lucid dreams can become your standard dreams if you want to, even without daily practice or intention to become lucid. Carrying on. The dream continues. In the next moment, I find myself on a square with some tall buildings surrounding me. I don't recognize this new part of the city which is lying ahead of me. I'm curious how it looks like, so I decide to take a look from above to check out the view. I try to fly up first, but I'm unsuccessful. Therefore, I attempt to climb up the nearest skyscraper. First, I try walking up on the side, then I try pulling myself up by visualizing a rope. Both of these attempts are unsuccessful, which was surprising at the time. I gave up and decided to take the elevator instead. However, I never got to the top. When I left the elevator, I was in a new part of town already. The dream continues from here. I visit the new areas of town where I find amazing modern and green streets, but that is not relevant for us now. Let's do some dream analysis. It is clear that on this occasion, I did not achieve a level 3 lucid dream. I did not achieve the freedom to change the story. I was caught up in trying to discover the new addition to the city. The reason I decided to share this particular dream is because of the insight I gained from it. Upon waking up, I reflected about why was I unable to fly up this time or get to the top of the high building. Flying was usually an easy thing at this point of my lucid dreaming practice, so was walking up walls and changing the direction of gravity. So why was I unsuccessful this time? Then suddenly I understood my expectations stopped me from reaching higher. If I only wanted to fly up or walk the vertical wall for fun, that would have been possible for me. But I attempted to do these actions with the aim to see the whole city from above, the city which did not exist in the dream world yet. See the paradox? I thought that there was something which I could see from above, so I wanted to fly up to look at it, but what I wanted to see didn't exist yet. And that fact made me unable to fly up and take a look at it. This is a delicate thing, so I think I should take my time to explain it. In 3D graphics, audio, and other media production, there is a word we use, rendering. In certain computer games, for example, it feels like that the player's character is moving through the virtual world, but in fact the character is standing still in the middle of the screen and the environment revolves around it. It means that the computer only draws the images, the models, the environment that you are actually seeing in each moment. As you move from one location to another in the game, the computer draws the next relevant environment for you to see, and so on. It can be said that the computer is only rendering the immediately relevant environment, and the character is always at the center of the world. That is the structure of dreams as well, a virtual world with the dreamer in the middle of it, with the dreamer as the projector. In wakeful life, a city is real, we are traveling in it, and every part of it already exists. In the dream, the subconscious is creating an experience for us. It is projected from our point of view. And only which is immediately relevant for us, what we can actually see around us in a 360 degree is projected at any given time. Again and again, this leads us to interesting metaphysical correlations. I'm thinking about how Buddhism and other philosophies see the world as a projection of something like a higher self or soul. It also relates to quantum physics with its parallel worlds and holographic universe theories. So exciting. Back to my dream. So I could not see the whole dream city from above because my mind did not create it yet, did not render it yet. So my attempt to get high was unsuccessful. This happened because I had a fixed expectation that the whole city was already there. To see more parts of the city, I could have just moved from place to place and let the dream gradually create each next part for me. Or, if I had more awareness, I could have voiced my intention. For example, I asked the dream to build up the whole city, and so on. In our dreams, our expectations define our experience. Day 2. During the course, we will establish a high energy goal for you, and the following exercise will build the foundation for it. Create a list of goals that you wish to achieve in your lucid dream. What would you like to try? Do you want to explore a fantasy? Do you have a creative, artistic, or any other goal? Anything entertaining? Anything spiritual? Do you want to do healing? What would benefit you in your personal or professional life? Think about this and write down a bunch of dream goals tonight. Over the course, you will learn to select and refine a specific goal which will become fuel for your lucidity. If you already have such a goal, then make sure to hold it in your mind while falling asleep tonight. As a second practice activity, I would like you to look at the list of your dreams from day 1 and look for any level of lucidity in them. What is actually taking place in the brain while lucid dreaming? When our brain cells communicate with each other, they produce electricity. It is done by the use of neurotransmitters. This process can be measured by EEG. The results are shown as different types of brain waves. As you can see, the higher the frequency or amplitude, the higher the brain activity. The beta waves describe an alert state, for example when we are working. The alpha waves describe a state of relaxation, or when we are watching TV. We are also highly suggestible in this state, and that is what TV commercials take advantage of. The theta waves describe meditation, dreaming, and deeper relaxation, as well as accessing memories. The delta waves are produced at deepest levels of sleep and meditation. And lastly, we have gamma waves, which have been discovered quite recently. The gamma waves are the most interesting for us. They are the fastest brain waves. They don't occur on their own. They are more like supporting waves. The fact is that we rarely produce these. The gamma state corresponds with a special brain activity. All of the brain cells communicate with each other at the same time. It is like an orchestra being led by a conductor. Everything falls into sync. You may imagine it like so. From the middle of the brain, activity or information is being sent out throughout the brain into every part simultaneously. And then this information comes back and gets processed again simultaneously. Operating from this frequency allows the brain to link and process information from multiple parts of the brain all at the same time, which leads to increased attention, learning, creativity, and intuition. Also, we can reprogram the brain, access memories, create associations. We can get rid of old habits or establish new ones. On top of that, the gamma waves send signals to activate the frontal lobe, which is the human part of the brain responsible for intellect and control. Also, the gamma waves deactivate the emotional centers of the brain, so we are more likely to react to situations with reason, compassion, and understanding, rather than becoming upset, taking offense, or being controlled by negative emotions. Having gamma waves active is a really constructive way of being. Interestingly, studies have shown that Buddhist monks who have been meditating for many years exhibit large amounts of gamma waves in contrast to beginner meditators who show more alpha waves. It has been also found that gamma waves are highly active when in states of universal love, altruism, and other higher virtues. The fact is that most of us don't operate anywhere near that frequency in our normal wakeful state. And do you know who do? Lucid dreamers. When lucid dreaming, the brain produces a lot of gamma waves. To add to this, in average dreaming, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for cognitive processes, is deactivated. But for lucid dreamers, it remains active. And even more, the lucid state also shows increased activity in the inferior parietal lobe, which is directly involved with the sense of consciousness. To summarize, lucid dreamers have more active brain areas than regular dreamers have, and lucid dreamers also access the gamma state, which is rarely available for us in our wakeful life. This combination can make people more self-aware in a sense, more conscious while lucid dreaming than while being awake. And lastly, let me explain how researchers first proved the phenomenon of lucid dreaming. The first experiments were done decades ago. People who claimed to have the ability to lucid dream were invited to take part in brain studies. First, their brain activities were measured while doing a certain physical activity, for example running. Then, the subjects were asked to perform the running in their dreams. They went to sleep, and after a certain time, the scientists signaled the dreamers by lights or touching that they should begin the running in their dreams. Then, the subjects' brain activity were measured while dreaming. After that, the scientists compared the brain activity of running in the real world to the brain activity of running in the dream. They have found that the two states matched completely. This means that the subjects could choose what activity to do in the dream, and they could also choose when to do it. This was proof that a person could carry out a chosen activity in their dream, which makes one a lucid dreamer. This experiment served as the first scientific evidence that lucid dreaming was real. I find the science of lucid dreaming very exciting because it opens up new ways to research the human mind. And now, let's take a look at more spiritual uses of lucid dreaming. There is so much literature on the topic. Dream travel and out-of-body experiences have been reported all over the globe. Shamanism in the Americas and Africa, the Mayas, Egyptians, Buddhism and Hinduism, and even some paths of Christianity. Most of the ancient traditions mention conscious dream traveling in some way, shape, or form. There is a whole path dedicated to it in the East called Dream Yoga. And we also have the hundreds of thousands of reports of near-death experiences. As I said before, I read a book many years ago about the shamanic tradition of lucid dreaming, and in the book, the shaman was talking about specific gates of dreaming, which can be understood as levels perhaps. He describes the first level as becoming aware that one is dreaming. He says the second gate is reached when one is in the dream and they are able to wake up in another dream. This means changing the dream according to one's liking. The third gate means having the ability to look at one's physical body from the outside, implying that one's consciousness actually leaves the body. Reaching the fourth gate means achieving the ability to travel within this world to places, to travel into other worlds, and to enter the dream of other people. So as you can see from gate 3, the whole thing becomes quite spiritual. The interesting thing is though that when I was developing my lucid dreaming and OBE abilities, as I have reached gates 1, 2 and 3, I have achieved everything almost exactly how it was laid out in the book. I don't mean that I dreamt about the things I read in the book. What I mean is that I faced the same challenges and I went through a similar learning curve, which I found fascinating. Before we move on to discussing the techniques, please join my Facebook group. In the group, you can discuss your progression with others and organize meetups.
The following dream was not a lucid dream, but I decided it was worth including it because it was a beautiful experience. I was in a facility with a few others. Some I knew, some I didn't, old friends and strangers. There was no way to exit the facility, and it felt like a large warehouse or building complex with more than one levels. It seemed like we were stuck there or perhaps imprisoned, but it was clear that we had to stay in that limited space for a long time. Everyone began to look for a place where they could create a private area for themselves. We were looking inside box rooms, boiler rooms, electric cupboards, shower rooms, basically in search for any space that could be separated off to create a small area for sleeping and to have some privacy. Some have built wall-like structures from whatever they could find, some were extremely creative and successful and built amazing structures and they seemed happy. I was impressed with the perfection and detail of some of these private areas, as some were made of surreal material, designed and created in futuristic ways, and other ones looked like that they would have required 3D printers and so on. I did not build anything. My only aim was to find a room which somehow led to the outside world. I felt compelled to do so. I looked into every storage room, every toilet, opened every door looking for an opening. As the dream progressed, as dreams often change in some way, shape or form, suddenly we were small birds rather than humans. But this change did not impact the dream. Everyone carried on like normal. No one was flying though. I have been struggling for a very long time until I found some tiny crack through which I could exit. My frustrating search has finally ended. I was free. It was amazing and exhilarating, and I could also fly. I flew over mountains and forests. I had a lot of fun and I felt the rays of the sun on my feathers warming me up. It felt truly liberating. After a while, I remembered that everyone else was still inside the facility and I had to go back to somehow get them out, to free them. I went back in through the same crack. When I arrived inside, I have noticed that a lot of time has passed, decades. Instead of the abandoned, empty warehouse, I found a large, closed-in space of modern living community with completed homes as well as some tiny parks with small lakes. It did not look bad, certainly did not look like a prison anymore. It was still enclosed and limited, but it looked cozy and nice with everyone having quality private space. I felt warm there, and I saw that many of the people whom I left behind have formed families and have created a pleasant life for themselves. In one of the homes, I saw my friend with his female mate in front of a nest. In the nest, an egg was about to hatch. Again, we were sometimes birds, sometimes humans. They were really excited about welcoming the new offspring. It became clear to me that they have established a life here and did not intend to leave this place. They were happy. I also met a girl, similar to me, who did not enjoy life in this enclosure, who wanted to come with me to the outside. Also, my friend had a teenage son who was not satisfied either. My friend told me to take him with me, and I promised that I would look after him. Getting out of the facility was a struggle yet again. Caretakers appeared. They wanted to catch us, the ones wanting to leave, but now I knew the tricks and I pretended that I would go to a certain area to do gardening, which enabled me to get out of their sight and thus find the crack through which we escaped. Upon waking up, I instantly knew that this dream was a response to my recent thoughts about choosing my life path. Yet again, I was at a point in my life when I left everything behind and started a new life somewhere else. I asked myself questions such as, am I doing the right thing? I was comparing myself to others. My subconscious mind reacted to my feeling state by creating a representation in the form of a three-dimensional, full-sensory, virtual reality. That is how the dream state works. It was awesome and extremely detailed. The experience, the feelings, the dialogues. They gave me more than what I could just figure out during my wakeful life with logic, reasoning, and overthinking. I felt the comparison between what I have chosen for my next years, the kind of free life without commitments and the ability to do what I want and travel, in contrast to a life of staying within a warm, safe and secure place and working within that to achieve happiness without wanting a big change. The ability to remember long dreams, to discern fine details, to go through vivid sensory experiences, to recall complex emotional states, and to find out what our dreams mean, all are the results of becoming more and more lucid, and I'm grateful to have this skill. The dream has reassured me in my decision, and I woke up rested and content.
Day 3. In Day 3's exercise, we will shape your attitude towards automatic dream projections and begin to develop your self-reflective dreaming abilities. To do this, I would like you to look at the dreams on your list and reflect on the following. What could be a good question to ask myself while dreaming which would add more awareness to the dream? What if that question came up in my dream? How can I add similar self-reflective questions to my day? Your second task is to think about whether you have any expectations or beliefs which may hinder your perception in your dreams. If you find any fears or limitations, then imagine that the next time you encounter those in your dream, you will connect them to the realization that you are dreaming.
In my experience, there are 3 distinct ways in which lucid dreaming can be achieved. The first way is a kind of natural way. Some people exhibit a certain brain activity. While sleeping, the parts of the brain which are responsible for self-awareness remain active. Let's look at another natural way. I personally believe that the evolution of the human mind is accelerating.
Due to the use of computers, internet, and social media, we are exposed to so much more information than the previous generations ever were. Thanks to YouTube, for example, we can learn a skill or quite a few professions just by watching tutorial videos. Our generation, and the following generations even more so, we are working with interactive tools and we're processing so much information. We can practically run a business from our phones. Compare this with life from 50 years ago. According to experts, this kind of change in technology has a direct effect on the human brain. We are adapting to it and evolving. We are not only processing information faster, we also have access to people's ideas from everyone all around the globe. We are aware of international events, global concerns, positive developments. Everyone can share their opinions. The more people can see the perspective of others, the more we can witness and learn from each other's successes and suffering, the more mindful and compassionate the human race becomes. To summarize, we are processing information faster and we're becoming more mindful of others and about what happens in our body and mind. Let me give you an example and show you the connection between self-reflection and lucid dreaming.
¿Qué? ¡Oh, bestia! ¡Bestia! ¡Cuidado con lo que haces! ¡Ponte prestísimo!
Papi. No, no, no.
If someone is nasty to us, we usually do not pause and think that now we want to be angry, we just become angry automatically. Similarly, if we see an attractive person on the street, we don't stop to think, we don't make a decision that we are going to be attracted, we just are. The subconscious takes care of it. To clarify, in wakeful life, most of our emotions and reactions are emanations of the subconscious mind. They come automatically. Similarly, we dream our dreams without us wanting them. The subconscious is projecting them based on our desires, fears, intentions, focus, and so on. The automatic reactions in wakeful life are closely linked with the automatic dream environments we are exposed to while we sleep. In both cases, the subconscious is running the show. To be mindful during the day or to be lucid during the sleep are the same thing. We recognize our automatic reactions to real-life events and our automatic dream projections. With good practice, we can program ourselves to always react positively or constructively in negative wakeful experiences. As for dreaming, we can decide what we want to dream about, as well as maintain our wakeful consciousness inside the dream. I think it's very important that we understand the relationship between our wakeful and our dream awareness. So I'd like to give another example. Let's say there's a person called John who has an argument with his partner. After the argument, John reflects and asks himself, what led to this situation? How could I behave differently? How does my partner feel? Next time something like this happens, first I will pause and think of a constructive response instead of reacting from the space of anger.
Papi. No, no, no.
If we engage in self-analysis frequently, that is, to stop in the moment and see what is going on inside our heads, then this attitude leads to spontaneous lucid dreaming, because when we dream and something odd happens, when there's a situation to deal with, which is often the case in dreams, then we are more likely to self-reflect inside the dream as well. Before, in a normal dream, we were being controlled by the dream story, the subconscious projections. We bought into them as reality. Now, as lucid dreamers, we will become conscious and explore a whole new inner world. I believe that when someone is really into lucid dreaming, it does become a lifestyle. Lucid dreaming gives us a whole new perception of the world. We can see and perceive in the altered states of mind as if we were a higher dimensional being. We can have multiple points of view at the same time. Being conscious in a lucid dream, which feels like being in a virtual world, experiencing sensations beyond what can be explained in wakeful life, accessing our subconscious mind, for example, seeing our desires, fears, judgments, and challenges visually represented as the dream environment around us. All of this makes us question things. It makes us question what is the mind capable of, what happens after death. Lucid dreaming helps us to become increasingly open-minded because of this. As an effect, we become less judgmental and we begin to see other people's viewpoints more often, which in turn increases our self-awareness. So, as you can see, there is a circle there. Mindfulness practice can lead to lucid dreams, and lucid dreams lead to even more mindfulness. Being free in our daily life, free from the constant internal monologue, automatic reactions and judgments, recognizing them will lead to also recognizing whatever is happening in our dreams. The next category of learning to lucid dream is the dream-induced method. In my opinion, many techniques belong here, but the common theme is the same. We rely on techniques which we carry out in our wakeful life, like a reality check. They can trigger sudden realizations. If you repeat an activity many times during a day, we are likely to dream about it. Did that happen to you before? We can take advantage of this to achieve lucid dreams. If we ask ourselves the question, am I dreaming right now? If we pause during our day frequently enough to make a genuine inquiry, sooner or later this question will show up in our dreams. In the dream, it is difficult to answer such questions, and also odd things can happen. Frequent reality checks during the day will lead to dreaming about doing a reality check inside the dream, and because our dreams are often strange in some way, something will probably stand out and you will realize that you are dreaming. You will become lucid. I would call this method the foundation technique for two reasons. First, we don't have to be advanced meditators to use the method, and it is relatively simple. And second, if we want to use the advanced method at a later point in our training, that is to enter the lucid dream from meditation without falling asleep. The foundation practice will prove to be invaluable for good dream control, which means to navigate in an already lucid state and to prolong it. The third category is the wake-induced lucid dreaming, in my opinion, the advanced method. As I said, by using this method, we don't have to fall asleep. We can transition from a fully wakeful meditative state right into the fully lucid conscious dream state. We can learn to jump into a virtual world, like you may have seen in the movies Inception or The Matrix.
This will feel a little weird.
The transition itself feels phenomenal, and it is often referred to as an out-of-body experience. Although an out-of-body experience can mean other spiritual journeys too. Mastering this method is extremely rewarding. Consequently, we must be able to really calm our minds with meditation. It is a different kind of approach to lucid dreaming. Therefore, I have created a separate training course dedicated to learning meditation and the advanced method. We can learn so much about ourselves by communicating with our dream figures. A dream figure can even tell you about what causes you stress on a deeper level, something that you wouldn't notice by yourself. We get to really understand what causes challenges or difficulty in our lives. We get to understand our still active inner conflicts. Imagine going to a psychologist or hypnotherapist who guides you into a relaxed state to access old memories like a regression. When you do that, in most cases, you recall memories by visualizing them or by thinking back. If you reach a high level in lucid dreaming, you can take such practices to a whole new level because in the lucid dream, you don't imagine things like in wakeful life, you simply give the command to access a specific memory and it is provided for you. The surroundings immediately become it. You can be in the memory. You can choose to relive it with emotions, or you may also observe the whole thing like a viewer instead of a participator if you want to. You will be able to play it like a movie, pause, fast forward, skip parts, anything you like. You could gain a different perspective. I cannot express how awesome this is and how seriously I mean that this experience feels like being in a higher dimension. I try to explain how this feels to me over and over, but words don't seem to be enough to describe it. I believe that this virtual environment could be a massive complement to therapy. For example, you may introduce changes in your perception. You could forgive someone, or do something you didn't do at the time. Or ask the person in your memory to act differently this time. You could make peace. In one word, you can integrate your soul. I think that with proper guidance, this ability would be unmatched when it comes to healing and understanding ourselves. I am confident that in the future, such practices will become commonplace in psychology. I could talk about this for days because this made my life so much better. But hey, let's get you lucid first. Day 4. Today is about connecting your wakeful mindfulness with your dreaming self-awareness. Recall an experience in your daily life when you used mindfulness, when you paused before reacting and first self-reflected, and therefore created a better, more constructive outcome for the situation. Think about what changed the direction of your reaction. Make a note of up to 3 such events. After that, recall one of your significant dreams from your list. If you have a recurring dream, use that one. Then visualize the following. How would it make your dream more lucid if you applied the same mindful pause and self-reflective attitude while dreaming? As the second activity, imagine the following. If you were a dream guide who could enter people's dreams, what would you say to your dreaming self which would help them to realize that they are dreaming?
Naturally, if we wish to be lucid dreamers, that means that we also need to remember our dreams. You could think of the wakeful state and the dream state as 2 sides of the same river. If we wish to cross from one side to the other freely, we need to build a bridge. The bridge will allow us a 2-way communication. We want to remember what we've done in the dream state. We also want to transport ideas from the wakeful consciousness into the dream. First of all, our intention to become lucid, and secondly, to remember our goal in the dream. Ideally, we want to make use of both sides of the river. We want to have an active, harmonious and conscious life both during the day and the night. So, let's build a bridge. The metaphor of the bridge is not so distant from what is actually taking place in the brain. Learning to remember dreams as well as being in the lucid state creates new connections in the brain, new neural pathways in which information is traveling, like a bridge. This is how new habits are created. The more we practice, the stronger the habit becomes. In time, we will require less and less effort to achieve a lucid dream until finally it becomes virtually effortless. Sleep cycles. To remember our dreams is an inherent ability for all of us. Everyone dreams multiple times every single night. This is a fact.
even if one doesn't remember. I'm sure that we all have nights when nothing disturbs us and we wake up feeling refreshed. Other times we sleep lightly and we may wake up tired. This can be explained by the different stages of the sleep cycle. When you fall asleep, in general, you enter a light sleep stage, then over time you progress deeper, then even deeper into deep sleep. After that, you come back gradually to light sleep, and then you enter the dreaming stage. There are two main stages of sleep, the REM or rapid eye movement sleep, in which dreaming takes place, which accounts for 20 to 25% of our total sleep time, and there's the NREM or non-rapid eye movement sleep. The NREM stage has three distinctive substages. These three together with the dreaming stage total 4 stages which together last around 90 minutes, which we repeat 4 to 5 times every night. If you wake up in the middle of deep sleep, you are more likely to feel tired. If you wake up in the middle of the REM sleep, in the middle of a dream, you are very likely to remember your dream. It is also true that the longer we sleep, the less time we spend in the deep sleep and more time in the REM sleep. That is why long snoozes in the morning are beneficial for lucid dreaming. For example, you have decided to sleep from midnight till 10 a.m. Set up multiple alarms from 7 a.m. onwards, one alarm every 15 minutes, all the way up to 10 a.m. When the alarm turns on in the morning, hit snooze and go back to sleep. This will increase your chance of waking up in the middle of a dreaming phase of your sleep cycle. Also, snoozing will keep us in light sleep. It will allow us to stay on the borderline of sleeping and wakefulness. If your body becomes sleep deprived, the next time you go to sleep, it will try to compensate. Interestingly, the rapid eye movement or REM phase of the sleep cycle in which dreaming takes place is essential for the body, so when you go to bed with sleep deprivation, you will spend more time in the REM phase than usual. This is called the REM rebound effect. So this will help you to remember your dreams, and also it will help you to learn to stay in this borderline state, which is one of the gateways for both lucid dreams and OBEs. If you have already achieved the skill to remember your dreams, that is a fantastic step in moving towards having a lucid dream. In this section, I will give you techniques to help you remember your dreams. These tips will contribute towards becoming lucid too. Our aim is to stop the separation between the wakeful state and the dream state to create a sort of connection, a back and forth communication. The last intention we are holding before we fall asleep has an extremely powerful effect on our subconscious. You can think of it as a very powerful command. Depending on the person, the ability to remember our dreams can take various times to awaken. It might take a few days, but we know that the brain can form very strong new connections, establish a new habit in just 1 month. What is important to keep up the practice every day, because in time you will definitely start having some level of dream recall. Before you fall asleep in the evening, take a moment and clear your mind. Imagine that it is next day morning. You're just waking up. Pretend that your day was your dream. Recall the events of today and pretend that you remember everything. Mentally comment, "This is what I dreamt. I remember going to the shop. I remember driving down the street," and so on. Before you fall asleep, do some affirmations for 5 to 10 minutes. One of the rules is to always focus on the outcome. The words we are saying should always be positive. Let's say we want to avoid fear in a real situation or in a dream. In such case, we shouldn't say things like, "I'm not going to get scared," because then the focus is on fear, on something negative. Remember, the subconscious mind doesn't communicate with words, it understands feelings. Therefore, the correct affirmation should sound something like this. I am brave and invulnerable. I trust myself. I am powerful. We should prove this to ourselves by thinking of past events in which we were powerful or brave, even if they were little things. Additionally, we should use present tense whenever we can. For example, I remember my dreams in great detail. I trust that my subconscious receives my message and it will make me remember my dream. I can program my mind, and I am doing so right now. I am more than my physical body. I realize that I am dreaming. I'm in a dream and I can do anything I want. I have a strong resolve to remain conscious while my mind is projecting images. Like always, affirmations take effect when we are enthusiastic about them. So use your emotions and believe in your affirmations. If you get worked up and super excited by affirming that you remember your dream, how awesome, how new, how such exciting thing, then your results will come really fast. Also, remind yourself that your mind is your own. When you give a command to your subconscious, it will carry it out for you. Trust in this, expect positive results, and your affirmations will become a strong catalyst for becoming lucid. Number 1. Definitely use a dream journal. This is how I do it. In the evening, I leave my dream journal next to my pillow. I should be able to reach it in the morning with minimal movement. After waking up, I attempt to stay motionless. I do not want to do any movements which would suddenly put my brain into wakeful functioning. I want to spend time on the borderline between sleep and wakefulness. While still lying, I make a mental note of my dream. I try to hold on to the images in my mind. Then I make a mental note of the individual feature of the dream. How did I feel? What happened to me? Who was in the dream? Where was I in the dream? Then I focus on the colors, sounds, and so on. When I reached the maximum amount of what I could recall, only then would I reach for my journal extremely slowly. Then I write down everything quickly. Again, don't even sit up. Only slightly open your eyes. You can even try opening one eye only, because you want to stay on the borderline of awakening. Make sure you write down your dreams before getting out of bed. Sometimes all it takes to forget them is going to the bathroom. When writing your dreams into your dream journal, try to look for dream signs. Try to analyze your dream. What unusual or odd things did you see, do, or feel? Being aware of them can lead to a lucid dream, because if something comes up frequently, you may begin to associate that with the realization that you are in a dream. If you do this consistently, eventually you will have a dream map of your own personal dreaming habits and dream signs. If you don't remember anything in the morning, here's a trick you could try. Think of your previous day, go through it mentally. Think of significant events, like repetitive actions and emotional situations. There's a good chance you dreamt about something that happened yesterday. Think about recent, previous dreams or recurring dreams. There's a good chance that you dreamt something similar. These techniques can help you trigger the memory of your dream. Studies show that taking 250 milligrams of vitamin B6 will increase your dream recall. The recommended daily maximum intake is 100 milligrams, so this dose should be maintained at your own discretion. There are many dream supplements which are more potent, but my aim is to awaken your natural ability without the need for any tools. If you're keen on using supplements, you may look at my advanced course in which I discuss the herbs and pills that are available, how to take them, and I will tell you the best combination which brought me powerful results. If you'd like, create your own magical dream journal. Wrap a notebook in special paper or color the front cover. In one word, get creative. By making the notebook personal and special, you are committing to your training. It will assist you to get in the mood and to establish a habit of writing down your dreams first thing in the morning. Learning to lucid dream is a mystical discipline, so treat your journal as a tome of knowledge and have fun with it. Energy and intention. Think of the mind as a warehouse. We can only produce limited amounts of goods at any given time. If your mind is occupied by negative thoughts, worries, or if you are spending your time and energy on overthinking or constant rumination, then you are using up most of that valuable resource. Lucid dreaming is something quite new for most people. We learn it by activating new functions of the brain, and if your mind is too busy, then the focus and energy you can spend on lucid dreaming will be limited. We learn lucid dreaming by communicating with deeper parts of our mind, which is done by directing our focus and intention. For this reason, I think it is highly beneficial to tidy up our mind space, so to speak, with some kind of mindfulness practice. Calming the mind conserves a lot of energy. Let's summarize our training so far. There are 3 distinct ways to learn to lucid dream. 1. The natural occurrence of lucid dreaming due to special brain activity or heightened self-awareness. 2. Training ourselves during the day with the intention that it will make us become lucid while we sleep, the dream-induced method. And 3. Entering the lucid state from meditation without going to sleep, the wake-induced method. We have learned that reducing stress, being emotionally balanced, and to be able to calm our minds helps with lucid dreaming. Therefore, any kind of mindfulness practice is very beneficial. We have discussed the importance of using a dream journal for both remembering our dreams and to become lucid dreamers. Additionally, I would like to emphasize again that ultimately it is our intention, the message we give to our subconscious mind, which will lead to lucid dreaming. Therefore, the most important learning point to take away so far is to pay attention to your thoughts before drifting off to sleep. Hold your wish of becoming conscious while dreaming every single night. Let's take an action step towards becoming a lucid dreamer. Put it on your things to do list to get a brand new notebook, to create a nice cover for it, and turn it into your special dream journal. Thank you for listening to the preparation module. We have covered a lot of things in it, and I believe that we are ready for the practical training. I will do my best to create an easy-to-follow daily schedule for you. As with any training, the more time you spend practicing, the faster your results will be. We all have different lifestyles, so you will have to decide how much time you're willing to commit to your training. For this reason, I'm going to show you which techniques have priority. These are your core techniques which should be included in your practice. I am also going to give you secondary techniques which I recommend using on top of your core techniques, if you have the time. I have divided the training into 3 parts: morning routine, practice during the day, and evening routine. So this will make up the main part of the training, and I'm going to explain the techniques and their purposes. Let's begin. Day 5. We are halfway through the course. You learned some important foundations, and it is time to get serious about the practice activities. From now on, we will focus on lucidity induction techniques. If you don't have a dream journal yet, it is time to get one. Look at your list of dreams and look for patterns across your dreams, recurring things, expressions of your psychological state, and visual metaphors. The best way to approach this is to contemplate how we felt in our dreams. In what way, shape or form were our desires and aversions expressed by the dream environment, the dream story or the dream characters? Make note of anything that stands out. For the second task, try to identify when is it easiest for you to remember your dreams. For example, what time do you go to bed? What time do you wake up? Think of what you had for dinner. Does it influence your dreaming in any way? What are your last thoughts before you fall asleep? As your main task, I would like you to begin to use lucidity induction techniques right before you go to sleep. Today, use affirmations and the dream recall simulation technique.
Morning routine. After waking up, there is one core technique we are going to use: writing into our dream journal. There are multiple purposes of writing down our dreams in the morning. First, we are practicing to recall our dreams, which is creating new neural pathways. Do it long enough and your brain will be trained to naturally remember your dreams every single day. By working with our dreams, by paying attention to them, we also cause them to become more vivid over time. Second, we get a structured way of trying to remember our dreams. We are more likely to take time to recall our dreams if we have to write them down into our notebook. Third, if we go to sleep knowing that the next morning we are going to write down our dreams as soon as we wake up, if we are committed to that already in the evening, then we already send instructions to the mind that it will have to remember the dreams upon waking up. It prepares the mind to actually turn on those processes which will enable us to remember. It builds the seriousness of the whole lucid dreaming practice. It is creating a communication. As I said before, we are building a bridge between the wakeful mind and the dreaming mind. We can use the dreams which we have written down for a number of reasons, such as checking our progression, reading previous dreams and imagining that now we are conscious in them in case a similar dream comes up again. This often leads to a free lucid dream. Lastly, to spot expressions of unintegrated emotions, recognize subconscious patterns which we can work on to make our wakeful life happier. So do keep writing into your dream journal every day. It is a nice and also really important tool to aid your progression. So, recording your dreams is your core technique in the morning. Depending on how much time you have, you may write down a long detailed dream. Maybe you can do this on the weekend. If you have to rush to work, then just spend 1 minute making quick notes. Believe me that even a little effort can go a long way. Additionally, I recommend that as a secondary technique to sit in relaxation and prepare for the day by setting your intention. Tell yourself that your first lucid dream is on the way. Tell yourself that you are going to remember to do reality checks during the day. Wake back to bed technique. We already know that we go through various stages of sleep every night. We call the dreaming stage the REM phase. As we sleep, the lengths of the REM phases become longer and longer, and their frequency increases. Our chance to become lucid is highest when we are close or in the middle of a REM phase. Therefore, in my opinion, the wake back to bed technique is a kind of bread and butter for the lucid dreamer, because no matter which technique we use, we will most likely benefit from waking ourselves up in the middle of a REM phase. This is called wake back to bed. To do this, we can calculate the time when we are likely to be in REM. One sleep cycle lasts around 90 minutes, and each cycle ends with a REM phase. So if we go to bed at midnight, we should be in or close to a REM phase around 1:30 a.m., then 3 a.m., then 4:30 a.m., 6 a.m., and so on. For best results, try to wake yourself up 4 to 6 hours after you go to bed. You have to find the right amount of time for you personally, because you will want to sleep just enough that you can still fall asleep after waking up. So you shouldn't be too alert. Alternatively, sleeping for longer than 8 hours also lets you spend a lot of time in REM. So if you do this long sleep, you can set up multiple alarms every 20 minutes and repeatedly go back to snooze. That way you will be likely to pop in and out of REM phases. My special tip is that you record your own voice on your smartphone and set it as the alarm sound. You should send yourself a message like this. For example, "You are dreaming. Recognize that you are dreaming." You have to do a reality check. When you wake up with the wake back to bed method, you have two options. Method number 1. Try to stay motionless and don't open your eyes when you wake up. Maybe have your phone or your alarm close to your hand so that you can turn off the alarm with minimal movement. This way you don't get jolted awake, your brain activity is likely to stay very close to the dreaming state. You can take advantage of this because you might feel vibrations or the sensation of sinking into your bed, or you might see hypnagogic images, and being aware of these phenomena can carry you into a lucid dream. If you're observing things like this and nothing happens, that is the time to do a technique. You can choose any technique, for example the mild or autosuggestion, SSILD, and familiar scene visualization. All of these techniques are covered in this course. Method number 2. After waking up, get out of bed and spend 20 to 40 minutes awake. Try to spend that time focusing on lucid dreaming by reading about it or meditating on it. You could even read from your dream journal. You can also solve a puzzle to warm up your brain's frontal lobe. Then go back to bed and use any of the mentioned techniques. Alternatively, you can also try listening to dream-inducing music, take supplements, or attempt conscious transition into the dream state with the wild method. I cover all of those in my advanced course.
Practice during the day. Reality check.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real?
If you repeat an activity many times during a day, we are likely to dream about it. Did that happen to you before? We can take advantage of this to achieve lucid dreams. If we ask ourselves the question, "Am I dreaming right now?" If we pause during our day frequently enough to make a genuine inquiry, sooner or later this question will show up in our dreams. For example, you could ask the question whenever you change your location, let's say when you cross the street or enter a building. You could look around you, check the environment, and spend a moment by looking at objects and people around you. Question yourself. Why am I talking to this person right now? Is this realistic? Why am I doing this? Is this the right time for it? Does it make sense what I'm seeing around me? Or am I in a dream? Spend half a minute genuinely wondering. Think about whether it is realistic to be there. Try to recall how you got to the place where you are. Can you tell the time? You are checking whether you are in reality or in a dream. Hence, this technique is called a reality check. This is the core technique for achieving lucid dreams with the foundation method. In the dream, it is difficult to answer such questions, and also odd things can happen. Frequent reality checks during the day will lead to dreaming about doing a reality check inside the dream, and because our dreams are often strange in some way, something will probably stand out and you will realize that you are dreaming. You will become lucid. I suggest that you set a notification on your smartphone to remind you every hour to carry out the reality check and to do one whenever you remember. The classic way to do this technique is as follows. Whenever you do a reality check, look at your hands. Do something weird with them. For example, count your fingers or try to put your fingers through your palm. Counting is often difficult in regular dreams. You may not see clearly how many fingers you have. At the same time, do a self-suggestion. If I'm looking at my hand, that means that I'm dreaming. If you do this many times, sooner or later you will dream about doing the same thing. And if you manage to put your fingers through your palm, then you will realize that such thing is not possible. Therefore, you will realize that you are in a dream. On a side note, it is a classic way to look at our hands because it's simple and quick. However, you could use any significant object for that matter, like looking at a specific crystal that you associate with dreaming, or you could imagine that your dog is talking to you telling you that you are dreaming. Really, it's up to your imagination. Mnemonic induction of lucid dreams and reality checks. Mnemonic is something that assists remembering and memory. Mnemonic induction, or mild, means to incubate a lucid dream with affirmations and also to program your next dream to contain a predetermined dream trigger to prompt lucidity. It is similar to the autosuggestion technique. Mild goes hand in hand with reality checks. We want to remember in our next dream to do a reality check. It is our prospective memory which is responsible for the task of remembering to perform something in the future. When should we use the mild technique? Anytime when we are about to sleep and want to lucid dream. Before going to sleep in the evening, or when we wake up in the middle of the night or at dawn, when we want to go back to sleep. So after waking up, say your affirmations like, "In my next dream, I realize that I'm dreaming. I must do a reality check." And then go back to sleep. It is crucial that we must do these affirmations with heart. We should be enthusiastic about our intention. That is how we communicate our message to the subconscious mind. If you wake up and remember your last dream, say your affirmations, generate a strong intention and imagine that you are in the same dream but this time as a conscious participator. Visualize the recognition that you are dreaming. We can make use of our sleep cycles and wake up ourselves when we are likely to be in a dreaming phase. I go into detail about using our sleep cycles when we're learning about the wake back to bed technique. Myhood has an important element which is often left out of the explanations. Any kind of reality check we do during the day is very beneficial, but to remember to do them in our dreams with a high success rate, there is a prerequisite. First, we must train our prospective memory, or PM, to remember. I advise you to do this in two ways. The first method is called Focal PM task. Your objective is that whenever a chosen cue happens, you will do a reality check. Some example cues could be, if I see a cup of coffee, I will do a reality check. If a colleague asks me a question, I will do a reality check. If I'm looking at my hand, I must do a reality check. You are associating the cue, e.g. seeing your hand, with the implementation strategy, that is, doing the reality check. The second method is called the time-based PM. You should remember every hour on the hour to do a reality check. This should be done by you naturally remembering, not by setting your alarm. It is okay to look at the time periodically to make sure that you will remember when the time comes. According to research, these two methods combined seem to yield the best results for training our prospective memory. If we develop the habit to naturally remember to do reality checks during the day spontaneously, that is an indication that our PM is prepped and that the reality checks will soon show up in our dreams. If we are really dedicated to PM training, we could create 4 different remembering tasks for ourselves every morning, for a week. This is what Stephen LeBerg, the creator of this technique, recommends. For example, we have to notice when we drink water, when we see a dark-haired woman, when we take out our credit card, and when we write a text on our phone. We have to notice when these things happen the first time every day, and then we have to do a reality check. In the evening, we should take account of how many we remembered. Next day, repeat the task with 4 different cues, and in the evening, check how many you remembered again. Secondary techniques. If you have time to sit down to do a visualization, here is one of my favorite techniques for you. Think of a place or location that has special significance to you. Perhaps it is a mountaintop, a garden, or anything that feels positive and safe for you. You want to really enjoy being there. Perhaps it is a place where you meditate or where you had a realization in the past. It could even be a magical forest from a fantasy movie. I am going to call this place your power place. Choosing a power place is common in the shamanic tradition to strengthen intention and habit. After you have chosen your power place, sit comfortably or lie down, calm your mind, and visualize yourself being in your power place. The idea behind this is that if you practice this visualization always using the same power place, then sooner or later you will dream that you are in fact sitting in your power place, and if that happens, then you will know instantly that you are in a dream, or you will do a reality check. And so the lucid dream is achieved. Visualize yourself dreaming that you are there, but also being conscious and lucid. Think of a goal that will help you maintain your lucidity and visualize it. For example, you will be observing the surroundings while mentally commenting periodically. I'm in the dream state and I can do anything I want. I can see clearly. I must remain lucid. This is my power place. That means I'm in a lucid dream. My power place is a room-sized empty island surrounded by the ocean. My island has white sand and there is a palm tree standing in the middle. The sky above is very clear and bright blue. The sun is extremely bright. I have done this visualization so many times that if I dream about it, I instantly know that I'm in a dream. The reason I chose the island because I really like water, so first of all, I feel comfortable. Additionally, on my island there is no distraction. It is easy to keep my focus and lucid awareness. Moreover, the white sand creates great contrast with the blue water and sky, which makes it easy to visualize this power place. It is a very clear image, and we need clarity for lucid dreaming. As a bonus, I can even combine it with listening to the sound of waves while falling asleep to further enhance the visualization. Whatever you choose as your power place, it should be something that is meaningful and something that allows you to keep your awareness focused. You don't want to get lost in the environment, so to speak. You don't want to indulge in any dream story. So come up with something that makes it difficult to fall back into a regular unconscious dream. The previous two techniques focus on locating an object or a place within the dream. By using the third technique, we will visualize an actual story happening, an activity, or a meeting with a desired person. Statistics tells about the top human desires. One of them is flying, the feeling of freedom and exhilaration. The other one is the desire for sex. Both of these are easily achieved in a fully lucid dream. So as for the technique, visualize, for example, running on a green field, faster and faster, jumping higher and higher, until you finally lift off the ground and fly away above the city, above the forest, or into space. Tell yourself while lifting off that I am dreaming, I am conscious, I can do anything I want. In general, because it is one of the top desires we have, it will be easy to generate a feeling of excitement and a genuine longing for the experience. As for sex, it works the same way. I will leave this up to you to experiment with. Do it once or twice every day, and soon you will be dreaming about running, jumping, and when the surprise comes that you lifted off the ground, you will know you are in a lucid dream.
You've grown stronger here than I ever could have imagined. The only way to know how strong is to keep testing your limits.
Day 6. Today's practice activity is about developing your reality checks. I would like you to look around you right now. Recall what you learned in this module and spend 2 minutes questioning your reality. I have to emphasize again, you must do this totally sincerely, otherwise it won't work. I will continue in 2 minutes. Today we learned about prospective memory training, which is one of the most important exercises for dream-induced lucid dreaming. Your task is to create 4 different cues for tomorrow. If you aren't going to begin tomorrow, then select a suitable date and make note of it in your dream journal. Your third task is to look back on your dream goals which you chose on day 2, and based on what you've learned so far, think about how you could make those goals more potent, even more motivating. Additionally, you could also consider trying the power place method.
Evening routine. The core technique for the evening is as follows. In the process of falling asleep, hold your intention of becoming conscious in your next dream. Try to make this your last thought before you drift into sleep. I mentioned this earlier, but it is so important. The last thoughts and feelings before sleep will have a massive effect on what we dream, how lucid we become, and how well we remember our dreams, and even on our mood in the morning. I also recommend using the senses-induced lucid dreaming technique, which is discussed in this course. That is almost the same as mindfulness meditation. Secondary evening techniques. 1. Record the major events of your day, mostly the repetitive or emotional parts, and attempt to think of them as if they were dreamlike. Relive the events in your imagination as if you were doing reality checks during those events. You might dream about something that has happened during your day, and this technique could trigger a reality check. 2. Do some affirmations. Some of my favorite ones are: my wakeful life and my dream life are connected. I'm in control of my dreaming consciousness, and I recognize that everything I see while I'm sleeping is a projection of my mind. I retain my self-awareness while my mind is showing images to me. I want to remain conscious because I want to grow. I must remain conscious because this is my spiritual quest. 3. Read a previous dream from your journal and relive it mentally, but now from the perspective of a lucid dreamer. Visualize that you are making conscious decisions in the same dream. You are making changes and you are self-aware. This may trigger lucidity because the next time you dream, the same dream can come up again. Now you have added extra awareness to it. For this reason, recurring dreams are a true blessing. If you have one of those, you should definitely use this technique. 4. Read about lucid dreaming, watch a YouTube video, talk about it on forums or in my Facebook group, read about other people's lucid dreams, anything that your mind remains focused on the topic before you go to sleep. 5. Use the visualizations to manifest a lucidity triggering activity such as flying or meditating in your power place.
Secondary evening technique. Read from your dream journal. When we're learning to lucid dream, recurring dreams are a very lucky thing. If you imagine the returning situation multiple times daily and associate it with the realization that it means you are dreaming, you can train yourself to become lucid in these situations. So, if you have a nightmarish dream, perhaps a recurring one, I suggest to spend some time recalling the dream before going to sleep. While you're remembering the dream, I'd like you to introduce a change to it. Visualize and attempt to feel that you are in the same dream again, but now you know that the nightmarish thing means that it is not real, it means you're dreaming. Connect the negative situation with the realization, wow, this again? This means that I am dreaming. We are taking advantage of the nightmare. It will become a trigger for lucidity. Get excited about this and decide that the next time you're having this recurring dream, you will know that you are dreaming. If your bad dream is about being attacked, visualize that the next time you will tell the attacker, "You're not real, I can dream about something else." Laugh about it, turn your back to it, move it out of your sight with telekinesis. If the bad dream is about a negative emotion or a hostile environment, shout it into the dream. "This is not logical, this is a dream, and I can change it." Remember that the negative figure or scenario is only the expression of something which is bothering you in your life. It is a virtual representation of a negative past or current event, something you have not dealt with yet emotionally. Once you have some practice in becoming lucid, you can just wish away anything unwanted. You will find that you don't have to resist anything, it is enough to just intend the change.
No.
Senses-induced lucid dreaming, or SSILD. This is a very interesting technique that I recommend for you to try. It is simple, and for some people it can trigger lucid dreams surprisingly easily. You can do it when you go to sleep in the evening, or combine it with the wake back to bed technique at dawn, or in the middle of the night. What you're going to do is very close to daytime mindfulness techniques because it involves paying attention to your senses. The first step is to go to bed and be ready to fall asleep. Get comfy, but try to keep performing the technique for at least 5 minutes before falling asleep. The second step is a warm-up. Close your eyes and observe the darkness behind your eyelids. Just be aware. Don't try to look with your eyeballs. Don't visualize anything. After 5 seconds, divert your attention to your hearing. Notice the sounds far and close, external and internal ones. What can you hear? Do this for 5 seconds, then shift your attention to your bodily sensations. Do your body scan. What can you sense and feel? Notice your skin, the blanket, your heartbeat, or a kinetic sensation like sinking. Do this also for 5 seconds. The 3 tasks, 5 seconds vision, 5 seconds hearing, and 5 seconds feeling, form a circle. Repeat this circle 5 times. The third step is to repeat the same cycle, but this time slowly. 30 seconds vision, 30 seconds hearing, 30 seconds feeling. Repeat the slow cycle 5 times and fall asleep. It is also okay to fall asleep in the middle of doing the technique. It is important to not try to combine the technique with other techniques. Don't have any expectations. You're not waiting for any sensations or images to appear. You're not anticipating anything to happen. If they do, that's okay. Just observe them and continue this mindfulness technique. This method can lead to becoming lucid in your dream, direct transition into a lucid dream through hypnagogic images, or even false awakening, so make sure that you set your intention to do a reality check upon awakening.
Special tip: how to build up willpower. Sexual energy is a very strong source of power. For some, going for days without ejaculation can cause feelings of either tension or accumulated power. If you wish, you may try to experiment with using this power and turn it into resolve, a strong intention that you carry into your sleep. channel the accumulated energy into the wish of becoming lucid in the dream. Alright, we have talked about many things, so let me summarize the training for you. Depending on how fast you want results and how much time you have, I suggest to include in your practice as many secondary techniques as you can. If you're on holiday, you could dedicate a whole day to your practice, or more days. Meditate on lucid dreaming 3 times a day. Do visualizations 3 times per day. Do a reality check every 15 minutes. If you spend your whole day with such focus on lucid dreaming, you have an extremely high chance of achieving a lucid dream the next morning. If you're interested in coming to a meetup or attending a fast-track lucid dreaming retreat, do join my Facebook group. Also, you may contact me via my website. Day 7. Today I would like you to create your own custom-made alarm sound for lucid dreaming. You will be able to use it whenever you use the snoozing type wake back to bed technique. Let's do this now, it will only take a few minutes. Take out your smartphone and look for an application that's called Recorder, Sound Recorder, Speech Recorder, or something similar. If your phone doesn't have such an app, then go to the App Store and download a free voice recorder app. Once you've done that, launch the app, press record, and then record your alarm sound. For example, am I dreaming right now? Is this a dream? How many fingers do I have? Once you have recorded this sound, save it as My Lucidity Alarm and then launch your alarm application. Set up a new alarm, go to Settings, then go to select either ringtone or alarm sound, then find the option for Custom Ringtone or Local Ringtone or Downloaded Ringtone. That will let you choose your own recording either from the file manager, the music folder, or from the recorder app. Use this alarm whenever you're doing the snooze technique. Additionally to this, I would like you to begin using the SSILD technique tonight. Inside the lucid dream. I would like to give you an idea about what to expect once you become lucid and also to give you a reference point for your progression. After that, I will show you how to increase the amount of time we can spend in the lucid state and how to develop our within the dream abilities to maximize our control and our lucid awareness.
Something, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Being in that alternative reality is so exciting. In the beginning, we tend to live out fantasies and fulfill desires, often impulsively. If you managed to become lucid, that is fantastic, but I must say that there are so many things waiting for you if you continue your training and progression while within the lucid dream state. In the beginning, we achieve lucidity for a short time, relatively to hours of lucid dreaming. We make some choices, but because we are not used to this mode of the mind, we can fall back to normal unconscious dreaming. To understand this, please try the following technique right now. Close your eyes and stop thinking for 2 minutes. Your target is to have absolutely no thoughts in your mind.
Welcome back. How long did you last without thinking? Most of us, unless we meditate regularly, very soon, perhaps just after a few seconds, we start having thoughts. Sometimes we don't even notice that an internal monologue has been going on already for a while. It feels like these thoughts are just coming automatically. It is challenging to stay present. The automatic thoughts are the same in the dream, but they come in the form of pictures, environments, characters, and so on. Whatever subconscious chatter is going on, it will manifest in the dream as projection. It is challenging to stay present and conscious because our subconscious projections attract our focus, we indulge, we engage with them, and then we forget that we were dreaming. Same as in wakeful life, when we attempted to remain thoughtless but we forgot about it and began thinking just after a few seconds. Imagine this as building a tent. You must build the foundation first. You have to establish a stable structure before you can go into the tent, otherwise it may collapse on you. We have to build a foundation for our awareness, otherwise the lucidity may collapse. We can practice this awareness in wakeful life by meditating regularly or by being present or by doing mindfulness activities. And now let's see what we can do while being inside the lucid dream. When you enter a lucid dream, especially at the beginning of your training, I strongly encourage you to experiment with increasing your awareness before jumping into the fun. I have explained the purpose of reality checks earlier. Continue doing reality checks inside the dream every few seconds. Keep up reminding yourself that you are conscious, you are dreaming. In fact, I would say this should be done before engaging in any dream activity. This will build our foundation, anchor and ground our lucid awareness. Do some simple counting like from 1 to 10 or repeat a mantra. Say out loud, I am now conscious in the dream state. I must remember that I am dreaming. I must remain conscious. Right now, my job is to do a reality check after every action I take. If you used the looking at the hand method, then keep looking at your hand periodically. If you used the power place method, keep going back to it or don't go away from it for a while. Keep doing these until solid dream control is achieved. Remember, you are entering a different world. You are like an avatar here. You have transferred your consciousness into your dreaming body, which you are not accustomed to. Take your time to get used to it. For example, you realize you are in a dream. First, tell yourself that I must repeat reality checks to remain lucid. Second, take a preferred action. Look around, feel your dreaming body. Third, do a reality check again. Fourth, take another action, move your dreaming body. This is the pattern which you should repeat. Reality check, action, reality check, action. Building this foundation every time you dream will cause your lucid dreams to massively improve over time. It will give you better sight, more awareness and clarity, more control, and it will prolong the time you can spend being lucid before waking up or succumbing into a regular dream. When you are practicing this dream control, establishing presence, you are creating new neural pathways in the brain. You are teaching your brain the ability to be conscious in the dream. It is also worth mentioning how to focus our attention in the lucid dream. Prolonged closed visual attention to small details of objects may cause changes. Your focus has power. Similarly, like in quantum physics, the more you are observing a particle, the more its location changes. An interesting metaphysical correlation. So while anchoring, try to look at objects only briefly, maybe for maximum 2 seconds, then shift your attention to another object. For example, you may look at your dream hand for 2 seconds, then look at an object in the dream for another 2 seconds. Then again, look at your dream hand. Then at something in the dream environment. Keep switching for 10 seconds continuously. Doing so should really stabilize and deepen your lucid state, and after that you can look at things for longer periods. If you become skilled at deepening and stabilizing, in time, you will be able to enjoy conscious dream time, which lasts up to hours.
Case study dream: the importance of anchoring and deepening. I have decided to share this dream to demonstrate how important it is to continuously do anchoring or deepening while we are lucid. In the following dream, I failed to do any anchoring, and you're going to see how my level 3 lucid dream slowly faded into a regular unconscious dream. This dream was so long that I don't remember how or when I became lucid to begin with. I recall being on a playground with a little pond in the middle, which was secluded from the rest of the area with a small fence. It was made in a way that it would be difficult to fall into the pond. The fence sort of arched over it. I really felt like going into the cold water though. It was inviting me. So I climbed over and then I jumped into the water. I submerged into a water world. It felt really refreshing. For some, it can take some time to get over the idea of not being able to breathe underwater, to get over the fear of suffocation, but once we let go of it, we realize that we don't need to breathe. This is a nice way to trigger a lucid dream as well. So after a while, we will be able to dive deep into the dream sea and observe beautiful sea life and play with all kinds of sea animals. After I finished with my exploration of the water, I found myself in the predicament that there was no way out from the pond, because the fence and the bars which arched over the pond made it impossible to get out. Then I paused for a moment and said, "Oh well, I am dreaming," and I simply intended to pass through the metal fence like if it was energy. This indicates a level 2 lucid dream. I knew that I was dreaming and I could also take deliberate action. After getting out of the pond, I took a moment to think about what I want to do in this lucid session. This kind of reflection shows that I'm in a level 3 lucid dream. I did not get caught in the environment or in any dream story. I had the self-awareness and the ability to come up with any story. I decided to ask for a guide to appear to seek new insights. This can be really fun. Very soon, I heard an extremely loud bang and a white glowing light appeared in the dark sky. It flew around the place and landed next to me. I was like, wow, what's this thing going to be? When the light somewhat dissipated, a young man appeared. He said to me, "We've got to do something, come with me." I found myself in another location where I saw lots of different animals surrounded by a fence. The area seemed very large and it seemed similar to how the rice fields are laid out in Asia, like a terraced hillside. The man said to me that I should free the animals. It was somehow indicated, somehow I had this thought that these enclosures in fact have a physical, real counterpart in the waking world, and by opening the gates here, real gates would open in real life too. I was skeptical, but I found the idea very exciting. At this point, I decided that I would play out this dream story which was offered by the dream figure. It was a conscious choice. I found a gate in the fence, the type they put on public footpaths where animals might linger around. It had no lock on it, anyone could push it open apart from animals. So I opened the gate without effort and goats and sheep started fleeing. Suddenly, I saw a big feline, which was either a lion or a tiger, and I thought to myself that perhaps it's not okay to release all the animals because they could harm humans. So I put out my hand in front of me and I imagined an invisible force pushing the predator back into the containment area. After this, the story changed. I wanted to know what all of this was about. I could not find the young man, but I somehow knew that I could find him if I went looking for him. I have searched for a long time until I stumbled across him. Let's pause here. At this point, I probably went from level 3 lucid dreaming to level 2. I could have just asked the dream to bring back the man, but I didn't. I didn't have that much awareness anymore. When I found him, he was in a secret lab or office. We talked and I have understood that he was a member of a group who works for the Earth's well-being, that they do their missions in the dream world which will affect physical reality. He said releasing the animals contribute to freedom, which is part of the evolution of humanity. After we finished talking, I began to wonder about these things. I knew I was dreaming, but I asked myself, could this be real? Let's pause here again. This was the point when my lucidity dropped from level 2 to level 1. The dream was slowly turning into a regular dream, where my dreaming mind tried to work out whether the dream was real or not, but it wasn't really my conscious self who did the reflection. The story changed completely. I found a television, and in it I saw the news reporting that I released the animals, like some kind of criminal. I was being recorded by a helicopter camera. Also, I saw myself in the news wearing my orange swimming shorts. At this point, I think I lost all the remaining lucidity that I had left. My dreaming mind thought that because I did go into the water earlier, it was normal that I wore swimming shorts. So, because it was normal, my dreaming mind thought that the whole TV watching story is normal too. Nothing stood out anymore. Upon waking up, the whole dream made sense to me. It was a snippet from my subconscious mind. The story contained multiple aspects of some of my desires. There was the intent to save and help animals and my strong beliefs about cruelty. There was the unconscious desire to be a hero perhaps, to do good and to belong to some special group. So, why didn't I recognize all of this while I was still in the dream? Because I made the mistake of not doing any anchoring or deepening. I did not stop at any point in the dream to solidify my lucid awareness, to remind myself that I'm in a lucid dream. This fact resulted in a downward spiral of my awareness, which led to losing all of the lucidity eventually. This can happen with experienced lucid dreamers too sometimes, so again, I must emphasize the importance that you do anchoring or deepening in every single lucid dream.
How can we maintain a lucid dream? When you achieve the skill to remain self-aware without falling back into a normal unconscious dream, the new lucid world opens up for you. You will gradually learn the dynamics and laws of this realm, like how to move around and change things as you see fit. You will begin to explore all new possibilities by creating objects, landscapes, and how to have meaningful discussions with dream figures. You will discover the abilities of your dreaming body, for example, transforming, expanding, shape-shifting, seeing from many viewpoints at once, and how to go through portals and walls. To prolong the time you spend in the lucid state, we need to know how to maintain the dream state, because eventually, after being lucid for a while, you will wake up. Waking up can be caused by a variety of factors. You may sleep too long and become so rested that the brain naturally shifts into wakeful mode. In other instances, while you are lucid, you may try to focus too hard on achieving something, which can also wake you up. Also, there could be some kind of external noise like a neighbor shouting or a sound of a car. Maybe the excitement itself will wake you up. If you wake up completely, try not to move. Do not start thinking. Instead, simply hold the last images from the dream in your mind without too much effort and let yourself drift back into the dream. Alternatively, you may notice that you are waking up gradually. Perhaps you start hearing things in the physical world or sensing your physical body. Perhaps you're losing focus of your dream objectives. This could feel like our dream vision is fading or like the sensation of being pulled back into our physical bodies. If you find yourself in this situation, it is time for anchoring and deepening. You can turn this process back. You can stop yourself from waking up, just remember to stay calm. Tip number 1. As I said before, quickly reach for something in the dream, any object nearby, like a tree or your dream hands, and start rubbing them. The sensation will ground you into the dream state. You will experience your dream sight becoming clear again, and your control gets re-established. Tip number 2. Start spinning. The sensation of spinning in the dream can have a massive stabilizing effect. Tip number 3. Do your mantra like Om. Repeat it until you have regained control. Tip number 4. Count from 1 till 10. On one occasion, I decided to compare the effectiveness of these techniques directly. I asked my friend to try to wake me up from my lucid dream every few minutes over a period of 10 minutes. The means of trying to wake me up were touching my arm and speaking to me. Here are the results. I noticed that the spinning technique was much more effective when I looked down at my dream feed or at the dream floor while doing it. As for counting and the mantra, they were more effective if I looked at something in the dream at the same time. The best results for me came from scrutinizing and rubbing objects. So experiment, see what works for you, because everyone's brain is different.
Day 8. Today I would like you to do a 5-minute meditation. You may use any method you like, and if you don't have your own method, simply try to pay attention to your breathing and try noticing any thoughts which arise in you. Every time you catch a thought, rub your hands together and say out loud, I must stabilize my lucid dream. This practice is similar to clearing your dream from unwanted projections and anchoring your awareness. You may use this exercise anytime before intending to lucid dream.
Dealing with our fears. Before we move on, let me draw your attention to the fact that nothing bad can happen to you while you're in a lucid dream or out of body. You're 100% safe. We are powerful beings, we are evolving, and lucid dreaming gives us even more control over our minds. When you are entering your dreams, you are entering the realm of your subconscious. If you're seeing anything frightening, remember that you are seeing visual projections of your own subconscious, most likely some fear, negative belief, or pattern. If you are lucid, you can make any of these go away by, for example, wishing yourself somewhere else, closing your dream eyes, turning away, projecting light, holding a strong positive emotion, shouting uplifting things, or simply wishing anything unwanted away.
It is really fun and beneficial to confront your so-called demons by beginning a conversation with them. Ask them, who are you and what do you represent? We can get very interesting responses, which often yield amazing insights about ourselves. If you like fantasy or anime, hold your hand out in front of you and visualize a sword appearing in it. You can fight and do magic in any way you can imagine. So you can fight dream characters for fun, or you can talk to them for gaining insight. You can embrace them too, your shadow aspects, and witness as they turn into pure bright light and reintegrate into you.
なら俺は一体何だったんだ。お前がいたから俺は強くなれた。お前のおかげでここまで来られた。だろ。俺はどうすりゃいい。そんなもん簡単だろ。お前は俺になりゃいい。お前も俺なんだから。今までありがとな。もういいんだ。
If I'm being disturbed by a dream figure when I don't want to pay attention to it, I just say, I don't want to deal with you right now, and I move it out of my sight, exactly like swiping on a touchscreen. If you want to stop dreaming altogether, you can wake up instantly. Intend the awakening. You could even perform a body shake. Think of when cold breeze touches your skin and how the body shakes. Do that kind of full body shake and it will jolt you awake instantly. So just to reassure you, you are safe by your lucid dreaming and you can wake up anytime. If you are holding esoteric beliefs, then think of this. Your spirit guides are always there to protect you. They won't let you do anything that you're not ready for.
Opening your dream eyes. Many lucid dreamers report, including myself, that in rare occasions it happens that we find ourselves in a lucid dream, yet our vision is blurred. This is the time when we should try to open our dream eyes, so to speak. In such a situation, we have a variety of tools to regain our vision. For example, try to relax and ask the dream for clarity. You can either do this by passionate shouting, this uses your emotions as the source of your power, and you can also do this calmly with a strong intention. This uses your willpower and your trust in your abilities. Say out loud, I can see everything clearly. Load the visuals. Turn on the light. Another method is to use the stabilization and deepening techniques described earlier. The kinesthetic sensations will often awaken your vision. You can also try the following. You may think of an ideal location or a dream story that you want to experience. Focus on what you want and attempt to visualize it gently and allow your sight to open gradually. Alternatively, you could approach the sightless state in a completely different way. Accept the fact that you are in an altered state of consciousness, which currently doesn't feature the visual sense. You could even use this as an advantage because in such a state, there are no dreamlike creations around you which could divert your attention away from the present moment. Because of this, you could try to meditate in this state or simply observe the sensations. If this sightless state occurs regularly for you, make a plan that you will welcome it with a curious attitude and try to enjoy it.
Sleep paralysis. Some people go through a very interesting and sometimes scary experience called sleep paralysis. It can be scary because one might find themselves lying in bed, unable to move, yet awake. Hallucinations may also occur. A few things may cause sleep paralysis, such as sleep deprivation, drug use, psychological reasons, or it may happen randomly. If you ever have such an experience, first of all, do not worry. There is a simple way to get out of sleep paralysis. Here's what you need to know about it. When we are in REM sleep, the dreaming phase, there are 3 things turned on in the brain which are relevant for us now. 1. The brain is creating the dream imagery. It is called cortical activation. 2. Our physical senses shut down. This is called sensory blockade. And 3. The brain sends signals to the spinal cord to enter muscular paralysis. This happens to stop us from acting out our dreams physically. In rare cases, when we wake up, it can happen that our senses awaken, the dreaming stops, yet the muscular paralysis remains as if we were still dreaming. We could say that the brain gets confused. If this happens, we can find ourselves awake and unable to move. The only 2 parts of the body we can move are the eyes and the respiratory system. Sometimes we can even feel pressure on the chest because of this. And why the hallucinations? Why do people report seeing scary things? At this point, because the muscular paralysis somehow stayed on, the brain is trying to understand why it is still on. It is trying to make sense of it, and it thinks that we should be still dreaming, so it begins to project images. Now, cortical activation, muscular paralysis are turned on, but not sensory blockade. That means that now we are awake, not just unable to move, but we are also seeing things. This is called psychotic hallucination. I have said before that feelings materialize in the dream as images. When lying in bed, unable to move, we can get scared and the brain makes associations and expresses your fear as an image. For example, a demon in your room. At this point, the subconscious is active, which can lead to further hallucinations. If you want to break the sleep paralysis, all you need to do is focus on your breath. Do long exhalations and relax. The paralysis will automatically stop and you will wake up. Having said that, sleep paralysis can be a great catalyst for a lucid dream. Rather than focusing on the breath, focus on the images you see, focus on the hallucinations. This will draw your body into a full dreaming state. And because you are also awake, there you go, you're having a free lucid dream. Trusting the dream. Sometimes I like to experiment with the potential new trips offered by the lucid dream. When I'm doing so, I don't intend to do anything specific. Instead, I let the dreaming awareness take me on a journey. The dream has some fantastic surprises stored for you. For example, you may be drawn into a calm void with nothing specific to see. You may even lose the sense of your dreaming body and become pure consciousness. Sometimes you get pulled into space and travel between stars through wormholes if you want to. I had a very turbulent wormhole travel once. I can't explain the situation, it doesn't compare to anything, but it was a wow moment for sure. You could become tiny like a molecule and become the totality of molecules in the ocean. Become the ocean itself and sense everything at the same time. There aren't really any words to describe such sensations and perceptions. You may also address the awareness behind the dream. Say out loud, I surrender to the dream guide to show me something exciting. Or, I trust the dream awareness to show me something extraordinary. You can change your request depending on how specific you wish to be and what your belief systems are. Ask the dream to show you infinity. Ask the dream state to make you experience your higher self. Remember, in our dreams, our beliefs materialize. You are entering your subconscious mind. Preconceived worldviews and expectations will strongly impact what you're going to see. If you are into shamanism, you might meet a totem animal as your guide. If you are more familiar with the Christian religion, you might meet an angel with wings. I encourage everyone to explore lucid dreaming with an open mind. I don't want to influence you and put seeds in your head. For this reason, if you are interested in my out-of-body journeys and my views on spiritual encounters, I address the topic on my advanced course instead. Case Study Dream. Messages from the subconscious mind. I had the following dream a few months after my grandfather passed away. It was a level 1 lucid dream. In it, I was at my grandfather's place and I came across him in his garden. I knew I was in a dream, so I also knew that he was part of the dream. I told him that it would have been nice if we had talked more, if we had spent more time together while he was still alive. This thought often crossed my mind after his passing. He looked at me and without any hesitation, without any reply, out of the blue, he threw a small object at me. I didn't even see it. It was such a sudden and fast movement. I caught it with my hand, and when I opened my palm, I saw the pendant that my father gave me when I was 14. Then I woke up. After I opened my eyes, the realization came instantly. In the dream, I accessed my subconscious mind, and this event was a very clear expression of some of my hidden thoughts from the back of my mind. I immediately thought of my father and the fact that he is still in my life, and I could be looking after our relationship much more. Maybe I should see him more often, instead of being sad about not having seen my grandfather as often as I could have. The dream really brought this thought up from the depth. It must have been lying dormant in my mind somewhere. This was one of the many different examples of how we can gain insights from our subconscious via lucid dreaming. What was shocking though, that after I woke up and went to the living room, I found the pendant on my desk. I lived at my old girlfriend's place at the time, and she found the pendant while tidying. I haven't seen it for years, but that morning it was the first thing I saw. Day 9. I would like you to look at your dream diary and based on what you learned today, try to identify blockages or negative dream contents. What could be their underlying cause or meaning? Try to find a link between them and your wakeful psychology. Next, I would like you to do a visualization exercise in which you imagine a step-by-step action plan. What will you do if a similar situation arises in your dreams? What will be your course of action? I would like you to think creatively and plant lucidity increasing self-questions and actions into your visualization. Lucid Dreaming in Buddhism. On my travels to India, I had the chance to go to McLeodganj, the town where the Dalai Lama lives. It is a truly beautiful place in the mountains with lots of Tibetans and monks. I've had several conversations with the locals there, and I was really lucky because a high-ranking Lama invited me to have tea with him. We simply began talking on the street. I love these encounters. As it turned out, he was a follower of the Kagyu lineage of the Vajrayana path, which also encompasses the esoteric and tantric path of Buddhism. I was really happy about this because this lineage also represents the secret yogas, the 6 yogas of Naropa, which are part of the advanced practices and meditations in Tibetan Buddhism. You may have guessed that dream yoga, lucid dreaming, is one of these 6 practices. The Lama had 2 assistants with him, a Western woman who was helping with translation and his secretary. I have expressed my interest in dream yoga and talked about my past as a lucid dreamer and about my previous experiences with Vajrayana Buddhism in Europe. I have inquired what would be the way of receiving teachings about the high yogas, especially about dream yoga, and we entered a very long and interesting conversation. I came to understand that seeking such training in the traditional setting is no small feat. First of all, one must complete a preliminary practice called a nundro. This consists of 5 steps. The first one is a set of initiations performed by lamas and the performance of 100,000 prostrations. The second step is the accomplishment of a set of certain virtues like unconditional love and compassion called the cultivation of bodhicitta. The successfulness of this is determined by the guiding lama. The third step is the recitation of the 100-syllable mantra 100,000 times. The fourth step is carrying out 100,000 mandala offerings. And the final step is the Guru Yoga meditation, again carried out 100,000 times. 111,111 times, to be precise. Now, doing all of these can take years to accomplish. The translator, who was also a disciple of the Lama, told me that she'd been traveling with the Lama for 3 years and the Lama has not given her instructions yet to begin even the preliminary practices. And one may only begin the tantric yogas, the 6 yogas of Naropa, after completing the 5-step preliminary practice, the nundro. The 6 yogas has to be mastered in order, each taking potentially years to do, and dream yoga is the 4th in the progression. As you can see, if one wants to access lucid dreaming in the traditional way, it may take years, decades, if not a lifetime to get there. This fact made me think of how lucky we are in the West, where we have access to such teachings, and it also signifies the importance of lucid dreaming in spiritual progression. It is one of the highest practices in Buddhism, taught only to a select few. So when you hear that lucid dreaming opens up whole new worlds and gives a more expanded perception of life, remind yourself of the awesomeness of it.
The point of dream yoga is not only to control our dreams, but to control our minds, both in the dream and in the wakeful life. Until we transform the unconscious elements of our life, they will continue to control our conscious life. By gaining mastery over our mind, we become fearless in the midst of uncertainty in our life challenges, and eventually we can eliminate them. This is a kind of psychological mastery, but Buddhist dream yoga goes beyond this. According to Buddhism, fear is the primordial emotion of samsara, the continuous rebirth into the world of forms, into duality, and the creation of karma and suffering,
And if we can conquer fear, we can vanquish samsara. So in Buddhist philosophy, gaining mastery over the mind means gaining mastery over the world. As we reach higher and higher levels in lucid dreaming, we gain increased amount of control and choice. Dream yoga takes this newfound choice and awareness and uses it to change the contents of the dream, the images, the characters and emotions, in one word, the mental forms, in order to realize how malleable, temporary and constantly changing the world of forms is. Dream yoga is about developing the realization that the physical world is also a world of forms. Experiences are temporary. Our aversions are mere thought forms and physical things are impermanent too. This subtle work leads to the recognition of the illusory nature of the world of duality through reaching the clear light mind and eventually enlightenment.
The ability to become lucid and to maintain the lucidity are the prerequisites of dream yoga practices. Once a person masters the skills which are covered in this course, they have successfully laid the foundations for dream yoga. Those of you who wish to begin dream yoga, please get in touch via my website. Summary and training plan. Let's take our last action step. This is the time to create your own personalized training plan. To do this, you could either open a document on your computer or just use pen and paper. I have uploaded a template for you. Your training will be divided into 3 parts: morning, daytime and evening practices. I'm going to list the techniques now so you can create a customized training schedule perfect for your lifestyle. The core techniques for the morning are recalling your dreams and writing into your dream journal. And here are the optional secondary techniques: wake back to bed technique, snoozing and repeatedly going back to sleep with the senses-induced lucid dreaming or mnemonic-induced lucid dreaming techniques. Additionally, you could do affirmations for the day to strengthen your intention of doing frequent reality checks. The core techniques for the daytime are reality checks and prospective memory training. Secondary techniques could include meditation and familiar scene visualization. The core techniques for the evening are holding the firm intention of becoming lucid while falling asleep and the senses-induced lucid dreaming technique. As secondary techniques, I recommend that you read about lucid dreaming, and if you have any returning dreams, then recall those and imagine that you are lucid in them.
Lastly, I would like to talk a bit about advanced methods and out-of-body trips. I have designed a follow-up training for those who want to experience the feeling of separating from their body or access the lucid dream state even during the day via meditation. When we go to bed in the evening, we never remember the moment of falling asleep. We lose consciousness. However, with the advanced method, we can achieve that only our body falls asleep, but our mind stays awake. Imagine that you're lying in your bed in a meditative state, gradually reaching the borderline of sleep. With advanced meditation techniques, we can keep our consciousness as we are slowly moving into an extremely lucid state or into the out-of-body state. When this happens, you feel a detachment of your physical body. You may literally feel that you pop out. The feeling is so sensual and mystical, the simple fact of talking about it gives me shivers. I remember reading about out-of-body experiences or OBEs before I became a lucid dreamer, and I couldn't really envision it. But when I accomplished my first OBE, my life has changed. This special method requires great discipline of the mind, but believe me, it is worth every effort. On the advanced course, I teach about meditation and the out-of-body state. We will learn the laws of that reality by going through portals, walking through walls, changing gravity, translocation, and a lot more. As an advanced lucid dreamer, you gain access to a special world where you have godly powers to explore, create, sense, feel. There is no limit, only your imagination. I will discuss the use of special sounds like binaural beats and dream aid gadgets. Dream herbs can give a massive boost to our dreaming practice. I will tell you about my experience with supplements, what their effects are, how to take them, and where to get them. As a big bonus, I will give you specific instructions about how to set up a dream sex event. And lastly, I dive into philosophical questions along quantum physics, the nature of reality, and how all of this relates to lucid dreaming and mindfulness practice. I would really like to hear which techniques work for you best. Remember that you are not alone in your practice, and in my experience, lucid dreamers are always eager to discuss each other's progress. So if you haven't done so already, join the Facebook group. If you like the course, maybe you'd also like my other courses which offer further exploration of consciousness. For example, I bring together practical psychology and Eastern mindfulness, and I discuss quantum physics in relation to the law of attraction. Thank you one more time for taking part in this training program. It really means a lot to me that you put your faith in me, and I hope I delivered because I tried as hard as possible putting my soul into this, because I truly believe that everything in here, if it gets executed, if you are consistent and committed, then soon you will start having lucid dreams which will revolutionize your life. So I wish you good luck, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of your massive results. Day 10. Congratulations for finishing the course. For the final day's activity, I would like you to reflect on how lucid dreaming could fit into your personal development or spiritual practice. What benefits could you gain from it, you personally? What do you want to achieve through lucid dreaming? This is the time to decide how much time you're going to commit to practicing and to select your techniques. Write down your answers into your dream journal and then create your personalized training plan. Sweet dreams, and I will see you again in the advanced course.